Everyone here on this earth have multiple potentials within themselves. The problem is they suppress themselves, and the problem happens because of the societal pressure that people should start taking their passions alongside their job. That's when you can take care of entrepreneurship at a very right decent age. You have to pick your passion one by one, and I always say that explore your passion first, experiment your passion, and then do it. Do not just label yourself as I am a communication coach. L&D is never a department, it's a thought.
Oh, wow.
Until and unless you understand why learning is needed, why are you creating a team of L&D when you do not have any learning needs?
You have been ex-employee of IBM, TCS, Wipro, Meta. What do you think what is the gap between student and a corporate?
To your surprise, it is not technical knowledge that they are lacking. They are lacking at the power skills. I call these skills as power skills. There is too much of buzz of this Gen Z. So I would not start my statement with this generational gap. But all that I want to say is nowadays people are in hurry to then label themselves with something which is trendy. They're saying that I'm a culture transformer. What did you do to transform some organization's culture? We believe in trust, relationships, values in marriages. These are all Indian culture. These are the pillars of Indian culture system. These are missing from the corporate. So I always segregate my roadmap of 15 years into two different zones. I started from Wipro, TCS, IBM and American Express. Till here, I was doing what companies are asking me to do. Like, this is SOP, these are streamlined process. You have to just do things BAU. And I did. But after American Express, when the first layoff happened due to COVID, and I started my things, like I started packaging my own SCOM packages for the very first time. And at that moment, there was no Insta, there was no YouTube channel in buzz. I had to literally sell my SCOM packages on my own. No matter what is happening, your energy has to be managed very well. That's your inner motivation, because nowadays people say motivational skills ka session karna hai, doesn't work. The self-motivation comes only from your inner self. Once you are motivated there, not even God can disturb you. God will say, oh, you are self-motivated, do it. I do not require to intervene.
What does successful life means to you?
Possibly you will be sitting with multi-billionaires, but you will feel, oh, I am much happier because I have followed the rules that I need. I will not follow someone else's made rules. So that is successful.
What are the things which is stopping them to take initiative, and how they can mitigate those things and they can start what they really want to do?
That when you are in a building phase, focus on only 3 tasks at a time. Do not run after 10 things and literally falling down.
Hello everyone, I'm Vineet Mishra and I welcome you all to the Growth Hub podcast. Today we have someone who has expertise in sales and leadership development. Her experience is more than 15 years in different industries and different companies. The top-notch companies like IBM, Meta, TCS, Wipro. She has worked as a L&D manager and head as well in various companies. Today we welcome Alisha Gupta on the Growth Hub podcast. Alisha, welcome to the Growth Hub podcast.
Thank you so much for welcoming me, Vinny. This was indeed a very warm experience for me. As I mentioned, that this is a totally different experience for me because I have been into panels many times and it is a distinct experience. So thank you so much again for welcoming me, and I'm doing pretty well. I'm very excited to do this.
Very good. So I will be asking questions related to your personal journey, the sales experience, the leadership development and culture transformation, which is your expertise, right?
Sure.
So the very first question is, as you have managed entrepreneurship plus your job, along with that you are also training people on communication. So how can a person can manage all these things all together?
This is a good question. I always have believed that everyone here on this earth have multiple potentials within themselves. The problem is they suppress themselves, and the problem happens because of the societal pressure. Society wants to push one of the established career on everyone, and this pressure is actually pushing people to suppress their distinct potentials. I myself have started pretty late, I feel, because I remember people did observe that I am a very good communicator. I'm very good with stakeholders. They have been showing patience with me that, one day she will come up and say that I would want to grab that opportunity. But I never did that. Again, this was the societal pressure. She's from Bihar, wouldn't be able to speak English well. She's from not tier 1 institute, she would not be able to talk sense. All of these, even though these are not right, I felt that this will be gained as, or people will perceive me like that because I'm from Bihar. People will feel that, oh, this is all fake. So then slowly and steadily, when I see that leadership teams are, showing confidence in me, that's when I think I thought that even though people feel that I'm saying something fake, I'll go ahead and do it. And that's when I started entrepreneurship at the age of 30, I believe, when I said that even though I'm having a job, I will take care of two things again, which are my passion. One is communication skills. I really want to enrich people with communication skills who are from different rural backgrounds. And that's what I started with. The second one, I always felt this women are not empowered enough. We talk a lot about women empowerment, no doubt. But how many women are understanding what is womanhood? What is that power behind that womanhood? That's what I took care in the initial phase of my entrepreneurship. And I always feel that people should start taking their passions alongside their job. That's when you can take care of entrepreneurship at a very right, decent age.
Wow. Yes, it is very, very necessary. If you know that I'm good at this thing, then you should pursue something along with your job so that you can help people out. You can, yes, we can say moonlighting, right?
True.
You can do that as well. So it will eventually help you personally and professionally in your
True.
career as well, right?
Right.
So very good answer. So leading to the next question, in today's era, as we have seen that many people are pressured to choose one career path, कि एक चीज को choose कर लो and become best in that. So how you have approached in different industries and different work culture, how you manage to work in different areas?
So, Vineet, as I mentioned earlier in my other answer, that people feel pressurized because of societal pressure. They have fear of society because they have to live in that very same society, right? My approach has always been very simple, and I keep the very same approach right now. Meaning, one thing that you have to pick is your job, your regular job. But alongside that, you have to pick your passion one by one. And I always say that explore your passion first, experiment your passion, and then do it. Do not just label yourself as I am a communication coach. I have not coached anywhere. I am a yoga teacher, for example. I have seen many, they have no practices, but they claim that I'm a yoga enthusiast, I'm a yoga teacher. I feel that people are in hurry to claim that I am this, I am of this label. I always say first practice. We in the old days we have heard practice what you preach. I always say preach
What you
only what
practice.
you have practiced. That's
Yes.
when you are genuine, you're authentic, and people will automatically start liking your voices. They would want to hear your podcast, they would want to hear whenever you are speaking because they feel that okay, she does whatever she teaches us, right? That's when your authenticity comes out. Yeah, so I have always believed that way.
So that's how you worked in, like you were
Yeah.
able to work in different
Correct.
sectors,
Giving
right?
giving an example, while
Mhm.
I was heading the L&D, I started thinking of initiating my passion, which is into consultancy. Meaning, nowadays I have been sitting with senior stakeholders, and I started observing that people are observing L&D as a department, which is totally a wrong notion. L&D is never a department; it's a thought.
Oh wow.
Until and unless you understand why learning is needed, why are you creating a team of L&D when you do not have any learning needs? When you have learning needs, you will know who I am looking for. When you know who I am looking for, you would know what all experiences I need in this person. But if you would look at LinkedIn today, the post starts with I am looking for. I mean, where are your training needs? What do you want to do? What do you want this person to do while this person gets onboarded? So I always have felt, and I still feel, that there is a need to these people, to these stakeholders, that what exactly L&D does. It is no more a HR job who does rangoli and painting. It is more of a business driven goal. So my questionnaires which I used to ask to these senior stakeholders at the beginning of the year is, what are your business goals this year? How do you want L&D to drive those business goals for you? It is not that I'm just at the tail of the business and I'm saying, oh, you're doing very good job. No, I am equally responsible for driving those business goals. And the third questions were how feasible you are to release your people to have these learning interventions, because now you will not hear mere logon ke paas time nahi hai. Right?
Exactly.
That's when you are making a point why people will be sitting in your training room. And one more thing, L&D is never about only the training activities. It can be anything. It could be self-paced, self-paced learning, or your on-job trainings, or probably any, active listening towards any podcast. It could be anything. It is not necessarily a learning session of 8 hours, a boring session. So this is also there, which stakeholders need to understand. That's the only reason I have switched my job to an independent OD consultant. This is what I have been doing for 2 of the organizations right now.
Yes, as you have mentioned that people generally take it as a HR job, that
True.
we have to fill the documents. Okay, we have provided these trainings and we have to show the auditor that yes, we have conducted this and this training.
Yeah.
These were the participants. So it is not like that. We have to train people so that our business will grow. Simple
True.
as that.
True.
Right?
Absolutely.
Great. So ma'am, as you have been ex-employee of IBM, TCS, Wipro, Meta, what do you think that what is the gap between student and a corporate working professional? Like when a student goes to corporate, what is the thing which is he or she lacks, due to which there is a survival chance, there is less chances of survival in the corporate?
Very good that you have asked this question. And to your surprise, it is not technical knowledge that they are lacking. They are lacking at the power skills. I call these skills as power skills.
Okay.
Is because even though you're technically extremely sound, if you do not know how to communicate the same knowledge to other person who is sitting right beside you, you're failing. And that's why these are power skills. What are these power skills? The very first one is communication skills. The second one is problem solving and decision making. Nowadays, so I will take this example from my other organization where I have worked as L&D manager. The very first time that my CHRO came to me and said that, we have hired all the IITians and they will be coming in the campus to corporate batch. You'll have to design the 3 months 30, 60, 90 framework for them, and you will have to lead it. So I thought, they're IITians. They're the much knowledgeable people. Why do I have to care? I have to just design something of, very technical. Fortunately or unfortunately, I inquired them in a very small set of interview panel, and I asked, like, what do they want to know from me? Because I'm the L&D Spock. To my surprise, they said, ma'am, how to communicate. I was totally astonished. IITians, are sitting inside this room, and they're saying that the very first thing they want to learn from me is communication skills.
Yes.
I said, I thought this was a fogging experience. I said, what is your expectation out of my first communication skills? They said, ma'am, how to communicate what I already know to my senior, because he will feel he is talking too much. So how do I literally frame this in a very much assertive tone as well, and then convincing tone as well? So I always say that communication skills matters a lot when you get into a new society altogether, which is corporate, right? The very second one is problem solvers. Nowadays, corporates are not hiring IITians only because they're IITians. They are actually looking for problem solvers, because we all have complex problems in corporates. You do not get a rosy day with a plate full of good looking items. You will get a messy plate, right? And that's why corporates are looking for only problem solvers, that too very quick problem solvers. So that is the second one. The third important one is AI literacy, because we all live in Gen AI era. Gone are those days where you will say that, yes, I know. How much do you know? Where do you know? This particular Gen AI tool will be useful for this particular use case is very important. So the Gen AI literacy is the third one. And the fourth one is empathy, which Indians are definitely lacking. So being Indian, I would always say that empathy should be in the curriculum when you design campus to corporate curriculum. So these are the 4 major pillars for anyone to learn.
Wow, very well said, ma'am. I recently visited IIT Delhi and I met a lot of students there. And yes, the thing was what they were lacking, that first of all, yes, they are students, they were not able to understand because they were in formal setup with me, and they were not able to understand that what they have to wear. So they came like, I cannot tell you that what was the attire. They have zero idea what to wear,
Yeah.
where to wear. The second thing, communication. They were not able to express what they want to, because when the program was going on, the panel discussion was going on, panelists asked few questions from the audience. They were not able to express what they really want to say. So I got that. So yes, you said it very well, that communication is very, very, very important, the foremost important uh, skill which one should have, right? So you have very well said, ma'am, that power skill. I have heard this term for the very first time, that you have considered all the four power skills in one. So that's great. So you talk about personal branding a lot. I have seen you on LinkedIn that you post a lot of posts related to personal branding. So when it comes to personal branding, what do you think that young professionals who have recently joined the companies, and like it's been 4 or 5 years of their working span, what kind of mistake they are making in which they are not able to brand themselves properly?
I do not want to start with any statement which goes to a clash, because there's too much of buzz of this Gen Z. So I would not start my statement with this generational gap. But all that I want to say is, nowadays people are in hurry to again label themselves with something which is trending. This is the biggest mistake that they have. What is trending is almost proven, right? What are you trying to accomplish when you're already following something which is already trending? That's when people have to understand what is in it for me, that I am claiming that this is uniqueness of mine, right? This is where the new generation, I would say, is missing. It is just not about this Gen Z. I have seen many millennials also, that he did that, so I'm doing this. No, where is your uniqueness that you are trying to prove? For example, if someone has the IT background, what is it, the difference that he is creating out of his comfort zone? We know that he has studied, right? He has full knowledge of this IT sector. He has been performing. He's been able to do everything in IT sector. What is the differentiates his work from others? But that's fortunately or unfortunately missing right now, and people have been constantly making these mistakes. They're not understanding we need to go beyond the trends. It's good to have some trends followed, like people are following certain trend of certain celebrities, certain speakers, certain podcasters, but it is very important to have your own marks as well. That people say that Alisha means this or Vineet means this is your uniqueness.
Got it. You very well said it, and the explanation you have given, that is like awesome level. Because when we provide the value in the system, then people know about us in related to that value which we are providing. Like when it comes to Vineet Mishra, personality development word is
Right.
already associated. Why? Because I always talk about that. I
Right.
always post about that. I always inform people who are not aware with this term that yes, this is important in today's era. When we
True.
talk about you, learning and development comes, communication comes, right? So all the posts must be related to it as well. So that's how you present yourself in front of people, that who I am and what do I do, what do I think.
True.
Right.
And there's one more mistake that I can count right now is many a times people get confused. What do they want out of this? So they posted once that I want to be a leadership coach. Good. But you have to maintain the consistency, showing the market that I want to do leadership coach. This is what I have done for being a leadership coach. This is what I have tried. I have done this mapping for this particular company. And backing the same thought, no one should be known by some other company's branding. Then he is an VP with this organization. This is organization's value add. This is not your value add. So people have this wrong notion that he is so and so with so and so organization. This is not your personal branding. Your personal branding only comes when you have something unique of yours, meaning the framework that you built, the experience that you created on your own. So I still remember a couple of months back, I was designing a framework for this very same organization, and the CEO, I was sitting with the CEO of that company, he literally mentioned that, you know, in my 20 years of this organization, which I have literally curated on my own, I did not meet anyone who has spoken to me with this clarity that this is my framework. I have designed this because of this reason. I have brought this because of this reason. So this clarity is totally missing.
Mm.
Yeah, in personal branding.
Yes. So people brand themselves by the name of the company.
Yep.
Rather than
This
their
is
own
not,
thoughts,
yeah, this is not your
their
personal
own
branding. That
ideas.
you are definitely creating a value add, but for the organization, not for you. This
Yes.
is where the people are getting confused on.
Great.
Yeah.
So the next question is, what inspired you to become cultural transformer and learning and development trainer?
You know, this is a very, how do I say, personal question for me, because nowadays culture again is a buzzword. Everyone talks about, I am building culture. Good that you have written your tagline. But what exactly you are doing to be a cultural transformer is missing again in the market. You know, I'm someone who reads other sports. I'm not someone that, you know, someone has just said that this is my article I have written, even though it's a chat GPT article, I would go ahead and read. But fortunately or unfortunately, I do not see any value add because they're saying that I'm a culture transformer. What did you do to transform some organization's culture? What is culture? To be very honest, what is culture? When I say that this is Indian culture, meaning we are talking about the uniqueness of that country, right? We believe in trust, relationships, values in, you know, marriages. These are all Indian culture. These are the pillars of Indian culture system. These are missing from the corporates. When I say that I am driving culture, what is it that you are addressing within the organization? People are failing, systems are failing, or the culture itself is failing. When I say people are failing, meaning you do not have the right equation between the manager and the reportee. We do not have the right equation between the guards and the CEO. These are what cultures are, right? Are you
Exactly.
addressing about it? No, you are just writing that I'm driving culture. What exactly you are saying? Another example I've seen, I am a diversity and inclusion culture transformer. What are exactly you are doing? For example, if there are women, are you making your environment safe enough for those women, or you're just saying I am a, you know, empowerment speaker for women, and you do not even know how to make this culture safe for women? Whether my women who are coming to the very same workspace, whether my men are, you know, are good enough to talk something, whether they are knowing what to talk and what not to talk. I can give hundreds of those examples from different organizations that I have to give this verbal nod so that they understand this is not right, because you have women out there in the very same forum. Meaning we are constantly pushing that, you know, this is what I am doing. I'm diversity training, I'm inclusion trainer, I'm culture transformation. This is where I also felt that it is a need. You know, everyone does L&D job. What is it that I am doing differently? And that's when I said, no, I am going to be a culture transformer. Fortunately, the organization where I'm working with right now as OD consultant, they understand the value of it, because every time I open my mouth, he says, yes, we are doing it because it is going to change the company culture. Be it, you know, there was some instance couple of days ago, I was just entering the organization by signing, and then I saw one manager and reportee literally standing in the balcony, and he is giving feedback. You should not do this, you have to write this, you have to remove this because they are the clients. I understand this is important feedback you really could not hold, but there are rooms, right? You just get inside the room, because your feedback is any which way not taken as positively and as important as well, because you are sharing this feedback in the balcony. The others are also you know, necessarily hearing your feedback, which is not even needed.
Yes.
So the person who is at the receiving end will understand, okay, fine, he's just giving some feedback. I really don't care. When you see the very same thing happening again, you say, yesterday only I gave you this feedback, you didn't follow because you did not give the instructions rightly in the right environment.
Exactly.
Right? So
And
that is what
the receiver won't understand the depth of that feedback,
true,
right?
because first he's not focusing on your words, because the others are also crossing on the very same balcony. The second, he is not understanding the depth of this feedback because he did not understand the importance of every word what he's saying, because his focus is constantly going here and there. He's distracted. How you would want this person to behave the very same way what you have given the feedback in balcony? It is not possible. So these are the culture which we are talking about, and these are my common pain areas which I'm trying to address by my OD consultancy.
So that's why you are
Into culture
into
transformation.
cultural
Yes,
transformation.
that's my passion any which way, and I have turned my passion into reality.
Okay. So the question comes out of this question that was there any time in which you felt like कि नहीं अब नहीं हो पा रहा, I'm not able to do it anymore, so I should quit or something like that?
Vineet, it will be wrong to say that no, I wouldn't have, because anyone who is ambitious enough to bring a change in status quo will have to face this. The phase will be totally on self doubt that this is too big. I can't resolve only by my help. I would really need someone help. And the other someone is totally absent in my society. So, yes, I have faced multiple times. I was just sharing in that candid talk to you that a couple of months ago I was laid off. And I was in a self doubt like, hello, why it has to be with me? I'm so skilled. I'm doing everything with so passion. But in a few moment only I understood that, oh, this is my calling. I have been totally into this impression that I have to bring a change in, culture. And this is the same moment. God has given me that opportunity to bring that change in organizations. And here I am.
So you took it in positive way.
Very much, very
Wow.
much. The very second day, I was totally inspired because then I was talking to this very same CEO with whom I'm working.
Okay.
So he spoke to me and I was giving this unfortunate incident with a smile on my face. So he said, wow, this is the first time I'm hearing a layoff story with smiles on the faces. So yes.
It totally depends upon us, na, that how we take it.
True,
right?
True, very true.
So if we take it's a God's direction, ki, okay, this is what I want you to do, so now do it.
Yeah.
So at that point we have to take action.
True. It is just that these self doubts should appear, I would say. If you do not have these self doubts now and then, you will be overconfident.
Yes.
And between the confidence and overconfidence, this is the only thin line.
Exactly.
So it has to be. I remember a couple of months ago, there was another incident where I prepared the complete proposal. I was in a job, full-time job, but I was preparing for a workshop. It was given for leadership training. It was a roadmap for 3 months. I did every good thing on that proposal and I was hoping that this will definitely come to me. But at the very last moment, they said that, I got someone at lesser commercials. Oh. Just giving a random, figure, not necessarily from the proposal. If it is 1.5 lakhs for me in my proposal, the person said that, I know you're pretty good and you will do justice to what we are looking for, but I've got similar things in 1 lakh. I'm like, how are you going to justify, like, in 50,000s, someone else will make better things without me? Fine, go ahead and do it then. Exactly. So these are few moments where you self-doubt that should I actually go ahead and decrease my price, commercials or something? Yes. But when these things happen, only then you realize what is your worth, what is your real worth. I was talking to my husband the other day and I was saying that in that opportunity, I was just bringing this instance again back. I was talking to him, he said that, because someone rejected, you don't, remove or reduce your worth. Whatever your worth is, you keep that fixed and then look around that who is the real people who have or who know your real worth, and then go meet these people. Okay. There is another instance, I'm sorry, I'm going beyond. So there is another instance where I was teaching people on OKRs. These are methodologies using which you evaluate the performance management system. Someone was talking about OKRs that, this is how you define Q1, Q2, Q3. And all of a sudden I asked, so for example, if we do not reach this target, which is 10 crores, for example, what do you do in Q2? No problem, we'll just remove 10 crores to 5 crores because we have lagged there and we will just initiate from Q2. I'm like, no, just imagine you are running on a track where you have to reach the finishing line. If at all you see that finishing line is very far, you do not bring the finishing line towards you, right? You have to still run fast to reach that finishing line. And this is exactly you're doing with your OKR. That's why you are unsuccessful in the next of the quarters. And you say, my finishing line was too hard. No, you didn't run fast in the Q1. Then you removed that goal, meaning you have brought the finishing line towards you. Okay, fine, I'm not able to reach. Let me bring the red line towards me, right? So this is where people go wrong.
Yeah, very well explained, ma'am. So as we have seen that you have worked in a lot of companies, and along with that you were working on your personal project. So many people who are our audience, they are working professional or students. So what was the reason with which you were kept on going? Because there is a lack of consistency in people.
True.
They have so many ideas, but when it comes to doing work, the real action, they lack there. So how can you guide someone so that they can do their work in the company as well, and simultaneously they can work on their own craft?
Hmm. I would say discipline matters the most than the consistency.
Okay.
Why consistency does not fall place is because of lack of discipline. Now, when I say discipline, this is far different from your moral values.
Okay.
Because this is a wrong notion among people that when I say he's not disciplined, meaning, oh, he does not have moral values. That is different. He might be a very good human being, but he just does not follow routines. That's discipline, meaning like you do. 5 to 6 is apt what I do. It doesn't change on any given day, no matter what happens last night, but then you are constant at 5 to 6. That's not consistency, that's discipline that you said. 9 to 6 is my job, but then again 7:30 to 9:30 you are doing a PD session, meaning you understand that I have to be consistent, but you maintain discipline. That's the reason I say that discipline comes before consistency. When you are disciplined, consistency will follow through, right? The other thing that you mentioned, that how did I manage both? So I always segregate my roadmap of 15 years into two different zones. I started from Wipro, TCS, IBM, and American Express. Till here, I was doing what companies are asking me to do. Like, this is SOP, these are streamlined process. You have to just do things BAU. And I did. I probably outperformed. I did lots of other things along with those. But that was it. I was doing what the companies are supposed to do, are supposed to ask to me. And that's it. But after American Express, when the first layoff happened due to COVID, and I started my things, like I started packaging my own SCOM packages for the very first time. And at that moment, there was no Insta, there was no YouTube channel in Buzz. I had to literally sell my SCOM packages on my own. That, hi, I was working with these companies, but I have these skills as well. I am a certified instructional designer and I can develop my own content. So then you would understand, even though I belong to a set, streamlined ecosystem, I could do that. You would not believe, we all remember how the situations were during COVID.
Yes.
It was really difficult to gain someone's attention out of that COVID, that how you buy my SCOM packages, which is on leadership skills, which is on communication skills.
Exactly.
No one gives
Everyone
really down to these skills, these
Exactly.
power skills that time, because survival was the most important
Yes.
factor. I remember one incident during this COVID when I was selling my own content. This is where I always say that we should channelize our energy in a very suitable or subtle manner. So this person himself was going through COVID. He had COVID and he was working. So the very first question he asked me, how are you doing, Alisha? I said, yeah. By God's grace, I am not hit as of today. Tomorrow what happens, I don't know. But as of today, I have not been hit. And he said, oh, you are really fortunate enough, because I am. So I felt so bad that, here I am, who is really feeling happy that I am not a victim of it right now. And here someone who is already a victim, he's back to his desk and doing his job. So we have to channelize our energies in such a subtle manner that even though I'm COVID hit, but I am doing my passion, right? This person was talking about how do you bring engagement in this particular module. I want someone to appear in the assessment before going to the next module. Man, he's hit by COVID, but where is this energy coming from? That's when I also observed that energy management is one important thing while you're building something of your own, because he has built his own company.
Wow.
What matters is the company has to run even though I'm hit by COVID, right? So that's when I learned that no matter what is happening, your energy has to be managed very well. That's your inner motivation, because nowadays people say motivational skills ka session karna hai. Doesn't work. The self motivation comes only from your inner self. Once you are motivated there, not even God can disturb you. God will say, oh, you are self motivated, do your job. I do not require to intervene you. So that is very important.
Same thing is with me. When people ask me that how do you get up at 4 every day, and I've been doing it for long, so I am self motivated. That is the only answer which I can give them, because when the energy comes from within us, we don't see the time, that what is the time right now, and we see the work what we have to do,
True.
what is in our to do list of today, and if there is something that is unticked, I have to mark it tick,
Hmm. Right.
right? Last night I worked here till 11:30,
Nice.
and then again I woke up at 4:30 today itself, because it is in my
And the best
biological.
part is this does not come on your face. That's the value of that self motivation, which
Exactly.
none motivational skills or motivational workshop can bring on your face.
Exactly. It is from
Honestly,
within. It is
true,
from within.
true, true. Absolutely, you need to know. As into your students, you can definitely let them know that you need to know how to get self motivated, but you cannot
I
motivate them.
cannot motivate them.
You
Yes.
can just let them know the frameworks, like what exactly you can do to be self motivated,
Very
like
well.
following discipline, channelizing your energies and all.
Yes. Very well put, ma'am.
Thank you.
So, as ma'am, you have worked in Meta, IBM, TCS, all those big brands, got a lot of recognitions as well. What does successful life means to you, if we talk about today?
Okay, so this question is again very personal to me because I am someone who belongs to a very humble family and we are not from a very rich background, right? When I say rich, my dad was always into government job. He served government for 37 years. So that kind of richness was there, I meant. Now, success always meant to me was having more money in my earlier stages while I was with Wipro, while I was with TCS, IBM. I always felt that having more money is what success is. But for unfortunately, I lost my mom in the very early stage of mine. I was just 27 and I lost my mom. That is when I understood success is not having money, but success is having good, enriched moments with your loved ones. Success for me right now is your own freedom of working in your own way. You should not have any boundaries what you are working towards. You should be at mental peace than having lots of money. You can be at mental peace even though you have not a crore in your bank account, but you will be the happiest in the room. Possibly you'll be sitting with, multi-billionaires, but you will feel, oh, I am much happier because I have followed the rules that I made. I did not follow someone else made rules. So that is success for me now.
Wow, very well put. Very well put, ma'am. Same with me. When I talk about success, it is not only about the money. Yes, money fulfill our needs, and that is, people say that when you get money, you start saying this thing. But no, when I started working in a company at the pay scale of 15,000 a month, um, I felt good because I had a job. My friends were not having a job. uh, so how you see things, that depends.
True.
Are you creating value in the people's life? Are you helping people out? And are you bringing the smile on people's face? Are you loving your family? Are you enjoying your time? uh, do you have enough time to spend with your family or your friends? Do you have friends?
Yeah,
So
most
all these
importantly.
things makes a person successful. If
True.
career, money, relationships, spirituality, like, or health, if all things are um, in good condition, then definitely you are a successful person.
True. I agree.
It is not necessary that आपका बैंक बैलेंस बहुत बड़ा हो गया तो आप सक्सेसफुल हो गए.
No,
There
no.
are many people who have a big bank balance but they are not happy in their relationship, right? They are not having friends. They are in jail. Many people are there,
True,
right?
absolutely.
So they are not happy and they are not successful at all. So success is that for me. So in last, ma'am, as many people who are our audience, though they are youngsters and they are young working professional students, so they are our audience. From their perspective, I would like to ask a question, that they have so many capabilities. They think, and yes, they have, but what are the things which is stopping them to take initiative? What are the fear factors which stop a person, and how they can mitigate those things,
Hmm.
and they can start what they really want to do.
Sure. So, to everyone, not just youngsters or anyone who is in a building phase right now, I would always suggest what my CHRO said to me a couple of years ago, that when you are in a building phase, focus on only 3 tasks at a time. Do not run after 10 things and literally falling down, right? So, focus on 3 things. So, while you are in building phase, always channelize 3 things at once. For the time being, I would say always build something of your own rather than following something.
Wow.
Right? Following a trend is a good, but only for few moments. So build something of your own, be it anything, be it product, be it service, or you are preparing something for learning services or providing some services or a SaaS system. Second, always remember who helped you in your bad times. Never ever forget who helped you in your bad times. Always focus on this. When you have moved up, always remember who were at my back, right? The third one is always remember that you have to return your gratitude to God, no matter what. So always remember that God is behind everything that you are doing or you're trying to build. Always show your gratitude to God. That is it.
Oh, and that's how they can mitigate the um, judgment.
See, that comes with a framework of problem solving, that every time when you see a problem, I can give couple of examples like how to mitigate. You have to understand first how big the problem is. If the problem is small, you will not go ahead with 5 steps of problem resolving, right? So first you have to evaluate how big the problem is, and there is a difference between problem and issue. So you will have to have a basic understanding of problem and issue. If this is issue, this has to be resolved in different ways. If this is a problem, that's when you will follow the 5 steps, right? So when you have to resolve, first you have to identify what the problem is, how exactly this can be resolved, whether this can be resolved by brainstorming, whether this can be resolved by hit and trial error, what method this just follows. I do not want to get into a problem solving workshop, but then this is how you have to mitigate by one step.
Okay.
Right? But when you say that what are my advices, that's when I said that always remember that you have to build something of your own. You cannot just copy and paste content from someone and you flourish in your lives. So build something of your own, because that's your pillar of success.
We can say USP,
Yes.
right?
Without your own unique selling price, you cannot say that this is mine. Right?
Yes. And you won't feel that this is mine.
Uniqueness will not be there. You will not feel
अपना
that this is
मसाला
mine.
डालना पड़ेगा.
बहुत जरूरी है. हम बहुत बार खाना बनाते हैं और कहते हैं ना कि ये मेरे वाला स्टाइल है, इसको खा के देखो. Why? Is because you know that the recipe I have made my own
Design,
way.
yes.
So they have to understand the USP has to be their own design. It cannot be copied or stolen from someone. And then they always have to respect God, that God is always there when I'm building. It
yes.
is not that you constantly build without God. We all understand everything happens because of His presence, even though we do not see Him, but He is always there.
Yeah.
So always show your gratitude to God.
Great. Yes, we have to build something on our own to help people out there, to help the society in various ways. So thank you, ma'am, for being on our podcast. It is an honor to have you on the Growth Hub podcast. We have learned a lot, and I'm damn sure that our audience have learned a lot from you as well. The people who really want to build something on their own should watch this podcast, and please share it with your friends who are working day and night, so that they can get clarity that what they have to do in the right manner. And please subscribe to the channel, because we try to bring one of the best people from India on our podcast to give you insights, to give you the valuable bombs from their expertise, from their experience. And yes, keep on sharing it. Please subscribe the channel. Thank you so much. I'm Vineet Mishra and I'm signing off.
Thank you.
Thank you.